Hello and welcome to Inside Music, episode number 72. I'm your host, James Shotwell, and my guest this week is Brendan Lukens of Modern Baseball and Broken Beak. It's a little hard to imagine anyone listening to this podcast has not heard the name Modern Baseball, but if you haven't, allow me to give you a quick backstory. Formed in Philadelphia a few years back, Modern Baseball have quickly become the poster boys for the current pop-punk indie alternative scene. Their music is a mix of a ton of influences, ranging from the world of pop to the world of punk and rock and everything in between, and it's conveyed to the audience in a way that is 100% their own. When you listen to the band, there's no doubt in your mind that they are playing music that is born out of someplace very special and very personal to them, and that's never been more evident than on their latest record, Holy Ghost, which arrives in stores this Friday, May 13th, through Run for Cover Records. Thanks to some idiot on the internet, it was leaked a few days ago, and so the album is actually available right now on Bandcamp for only $5, but I want to encourage you to pay as much as you possibly can for this album. And I know that sounds a little weird, but allow me to, kind of give you some reasoning for it. Modern Baseball are now three albums deep into their career, and their last two records, Sports and You're Gonna Miss It All, have both performed very well. They've sold a ton of copies, and they've helped establish the band. This album, Holy Ghost, is kind of another monster altogether. After two records filled with fun, energetic, often quippy songs, Holy Ghost strips away a lot of the quippiness and a lot of the sarcasm that are found in the band's older material and gives you a very honest, very personal album about very real struggles that many people have or will face in their lives. It's the kind of album that a lot of people don't think is possible in the world of pop punk because the genre is so often associated with things like pizza and friendships and good times, and that's very much a part of the scene to an extent, but there's a lot more going on as well. And this record kind of addresses that. There's talk about mental health, death, grieving, how distance plays a role in impacting relationships, usually straining them, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And Brendan and I kind of go through all of that on this episode, but we don't do it in the way where we talk through the different songs on the record. We more talk about the record as a whole and the events in Brendan's life that helped inspire the songs that he wrote. You see, there's actually two songwriters in Modern Baseball, Jake and Brendan. Jake wrote the first half of the record, Brendan wrote the second half, and with 11 tracks, for those playing the home game or who have the record in front of them, every song after the song Hiding is Brendan's. And Brendan uses his portion of the record to talk about his own battles with his mental illness over the past year, what came of it, and how he's dealing with everything kind of in the wake of a realization that, yes, he needs to do something about this. And I think it's a record that inspired me, as someone who maybe doesn't have the same issues as Brendan has, but who has issues of their own that they try their best to ignore. It inspired me to take a look at myself, who I am, how I'm living, and really question if I'm making the best decisions for myself in a healthy way, both physically and mentally, but also in the relationships I keep and how I keep them. Sometimes I feel like we get so caught up in our day-to-day lives, especially those of us that are trying to work in music or do work in music, that we kind of disconnect from everyone around us. We feel we kind of create a bubble around ourselves. And Holy Ghost is about popping that bubble and letting the outside world see you for what you really are and being okay with the fact that that's who you are. That's a lot of praise for an album that some of you probably haven't heard yet, but trust me, it's an incredible listen. So Brendan and I talk about all of that. And then we also talk about this other band he has, Broken Beak, who's going to release an album on July 1st through Near Mint Records called Some Nerve that is equally awesome. Yeah, Brendan's actually responsible for two great releases coming out in summer 2016, and we're going to talk about both of them on this episode. Most of it's Modern Baseball, but there is a little Broken Beak at the end. And heck, we even throw in a little bit of discussion about X-Men Apocalypse. I know that's not an album, but it's a summer thing. So I want to get to the show right away, but before we get there, we do have to talk about a few quick things. Number one, you need to use Holics. The sponsor of this week's show and every episode is Holics. And what Holics is the internet's leading digital promotional distribution platform. And what that means is that Holics works with record labels, publicists, managers, and independent artists all over the world to share new and unreleased music without fear of piracy. Should leaks occur, Holics has state-of-the-art technology that can not only stop the spread of unwanted files online, but also track down the people responsible for the leak. For more information on Holics and access to a free 30-day trial, visit Holics.com. That's HAULIX.com. You should also be following the show on Twitter. Yes, this show has a Twitter account and is at Inside Music Pod. That's at Inside Music POD. And third, and finally, you need to buy a copy of the new Modern Baseball album. Holy Ghost is available right now on Bandcamp for $5, and it'll be available in physical copies like vinyl, cassette, and CD this Friday, May 13th through Run for Cover Records. Do whatever you can to get your hands on a copy, buy it, and then share it with everyone you know. It's that good. Okay? Now enjoy my conversation with Brendan. Yeah, well, I was supposed to do that X-Men movie like last week, and then they were like, no, it's going to be Monday at noon, and I was like, oh, the one time I have something else scheduled. Uh,
How was it?
it was pretty mediocre.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I
was
was like,
very
this
underwhelmed.
trailer's pretty intense. It's either going to be the entire movie or it's not.
The entire trailer is like deep in the third act of the film.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, like an hour. I kept checking my phone. It was like an hour and 45 minutes before they actually like meet Apocalypse of a 2.5 hour movie.
Whoa.
Yeah, it takes a
That's
long
really
time.
long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like Civil War, Batman v Superman long, but it's X-Men.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you being able to work with it because like Fox got real cocky and they were like, "We're gonna drop the review embargo on critics like Monday afternoon." So I saw it and then I had to have the review out like 2 hours later.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they do that sometimes. That's like a big thing between music and film. And film, like they dictate when you can write about something. In music, they're usually just like, just write about it, please, God, please.
Yeah. For the love of God.
Yeah. So that's
crazy.
weird. But yeah, so I appreciate it. You're very, very nice.
Yeah, no problem.
You know, you could have been a dick. You could have been like, no, dude, we have a plan. We made plans.
I get it. When X-Men calls, you have to answer.
Yeah. When superheroes come calling, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it seems like you've been pretty busy yourself.
Yeah, pretty busy. Release week's been pretty intense. We just got back from Australia, Europe. Still trying to find our sleep schedules while doing all this crazy stuff. Today is actually a kind of rehearsal day for us. We're renting out a very large room and practicing in it. It's very funny to say out loud.
Why does that just feel strange to you?
Oh yeah, the fact that it's just like not our basement or not a tiny studio is very weird to me. The fact that it's like it's a 1,000 cap room, like a room that we've played in the past, is kind of intense.
And how long will you guys do that for?
We're doing it for all of today, so
one good day.
Yeah, one solid day.
Well, I'm glad
Hopefully.
I'm glad you could find some time to talk to me in the middle of it all.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
I know it's like noon, or yeah, you're on the East Coast, so it's noon there.
Yeah. Wait, where are you?
I'm in Minneapolis, so Central Time.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I used to live in Boston, just moved out here. That's how it goes.
Oh, okay, damn.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I was like,
That's why I always have to ask what time zone it is, because like no one works in Central Time. I know Chicago's here, but everyone just assumes you're on East Coast or West Coast.
For real?
Yeah. I still have to like sometimes when it's Pacific time, I still have to like put it into Google and be like, what time is it here? Because I got to make sure I don't like miss things.
Yeah, I think after we did 10 flights on this last tour, I think I have like 15 different time zones in my phone at this point. Just like all major cities. Just, gross.
Yeah. You just wait, like you land and you just restart your phone and try to figure out what time it is?
Yep, it's the worst.
When did you guys get back?
Oh, shit. I think that was like, when did we get back? Like 10 days ago? We got we got back last Monday.
So what, a week ago?
Yeah.
So what have you done in that last week? What'd your first week back in the States like?
Pretty much just wanted to unwind. Kept practicing the songs that we were going to be playing today. I hadn't seen my partner in over a month, so we just kind of chilled out. I saw Captain America Civil War. That was definitely on the to-do. Because it was released earlier than it was here because we were in the UK, and then we didn't see it. And after not seeing Captain America before we could have in the States and not doing the koala thing in Australia, my heart was broken.
Why even go overseas? Come on now.
Exactly.
But how was overseas otherwise?
It was amazing. It was really, really great. Australia was such an incredible experience. It was amazing to see how it's just crazy when we go to different countries and people are singing the words like we're at home. It's very surreal. And then we went to Europe, and not only went to Europe and like played Grows Rock and did crazy sold out UK shows and all this stuff, but we were also with Pup and Three Man Cannon, were two of our favorite bands and people, and it was just a wonderful experience all around.
Yeah, let's talk real quick about Grows Rock, because I'm curious. It looks like this insane festival.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just like super fast.
It's kind of incredible. I look at the lineup and I'm just like, whoa. It's all over the place.
It was kind of insane. We like saw some of Sum 41 side stage, and we were just laughing. It was a very strange moment.
Oh man, did you guys do any other festivals over there, or was that your only one?
That was our only one there. So it was a nice way to, and it was the last day of the whole tour, so it was a nice way to like top everything off. And watching Pup, it was so amazing at this fest. They were so good and so loud. It was great.
Their new album is so good.
It's fucked, right?
Yeah, they're gonna be on the show soon. It's so good.
That's great. Yeah, it's amazing. We got it a little bit ago, and until Beyonce came out, it was my record of the year.
What a great statement.
Yeah. A solid 1-2 punch, if you ask me.
It's true. I just admire the way those guys can write these like crazy party songs that still like run into one another. Like the first two songs play like one really long just party anthem.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That whole tour was us trying to learn those songs. They would be playing them live and us being like, okay, how do we play Daft?
Yeah, I haven't gotten to see any of the new material yet, so I'm jealous.
Oh, you're going to have a lot of fun.
Oh, man. How much were you guys playing new material on that tour? Any stuff?
We were playing Every Day in Apple Cider. So the two songs we released prior, and then we were occasionally playing Mass. But for sessions and stuff like that, especially in Australia, we pretty much covered most of the record. So not too many new songs live, but that will definitely change on the Holy Ghost tour. So
obviously.
Yeah.
I can just imagine it'd be weird to bring a lot of Holy Ghost onto a tour with Pup, because the records are pretty different in terms of like energy level.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Pup kind of was like 10.
Yeah. Yeah. There was definitely times that like, so even on like the last tours we did with them, I'd be watching them and I'd be like, geez, I don't even think I could move that fast and for that long. Fuck that.
It's like a mini marathon.
For real. They're in incredible shape, all of them.
Some people just assume that like you tour, you sleep in a van, you get a little chubby, it's just how it works, but like you see a band like that and you're like, how do you work out so much?
For real.
Well, let's talk about the record. So the world got to hear it yesterday.
Yeah.
Monday. So what's it been like? Like, well, I assume your Twitter feed just explodes.
Yeah, I just kind of backed away from it most of the day because I was like a little overwhelmed. But
yeah, is it weird?
Yeah, definitely weird. Especially yesterday, we were obviously very, very proud of this record, and we were all very nervous to share it. Especially in full after talking about it for so long. It felt like, ah! So, but yeah, it's very, very exciting, and we're all very happy that it's finally out there.
Well, I had Cam from Sorority Noise on the show a few weeks ago, and he and I gushed about the record for a little bit. And
yeah, that little bugger.
Yeah, he's so proud of you. He speaks like a parent.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm so proud of those boys.
I know. I'm so proud of him. I love him.
The relationship the two groups share is just kind of amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how the relationship has grown and how like everyone has started to get included. Like whenever they add someone new to their crew, they're kind of like adding to our relationship and family. So yeah, so proud of them. When they announced the Bayside thing, I was like, fuck. Like, that's just damn.
Yeah, that's awesome. I find it interesting though that, Cam just released, the band just released this EP that's all these kind of songs about grieving and loss and getting through that, and then you guys released a record that's like double the length, barely,
Yeah,
but kind of
barely.
hits a lot of the same topics. Like you guys, it's not the same record by any stretch of the imagination, but it seems like you guys were kind of going through similar stuff in the last year.
Totally. Cam is a good example, I feel like, of someone who, especially recently, has kind of dealt with both sides of what Jake and I were dealing with losing someone that you care about deeply and that affecting your friends and family and you as an individual, and having to deal with mental illness and struggle with that daily and being away from home so often. He's definitely in the same perspective as us, almost down to a T. I love that EP. I'm like, talking about being proud of someone. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, really just things.
I always tell people that EP reminds me of like early Bright Eyes.
Oh, you're spot on there.
Like
yeah, that's pretty much right.
Fevers and Mirrors, like that era of
Yeah.
Bright Eyes. Yeah. Oh,
Totally.
I was like, he doesn't need to go, like, they don't need to go that direction, but they could, and that's like very interesting to me.
Yeah. I'm sure Cam, that whole crew together, they could do anything they want.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
If they wanted to be a prog metal band tomorrow, they would.
I would listen to that record.
Yeah, me too, honestly. Scuff would probably kill that record.
I actually was trying to convince Cam to bring his love of saxophone into Sorority Noise moving forward. Like, start playing that shit.
I'm sure one day.
One day. Maybe you can do it. Like, write a modern baseball song, have Cam guest, but only do saxophone.
Do saxophone? Yeah.
People will get all hyped on the Sorority Noise crossover, and then it's just him playing sax. They're like, what?
Thank you, Cam, for all your love and support. This is how we want to pay you back.
Oh, man. Yeah, so I want to talk about that mental health thing just real quick.
Yeah.
Everyone that's seen the documentary knows you talk a little bit about how Cam helps you through your problems with that. And I was always curious because I feel like a lot of people don't know how, like, they want that kind of relationship where they feel like they have a person they can call and be like, the world's crumbling and I have an existential crisis and I need you to solve it for me.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to start that. Like, so how did you guys first like come together on that level? Like, do you remember when you first was it him that reached out to you? Was it you reaching out to him? How do you start that bond?
I think with all of my support groups, it's different, and everyone supports groups, it's different. With me and Cam, it's definitely, our relationship definitely blossomed because of his personality, the way that he is. He is very open and honest with everyone that he meets, and he doesn't hold back with what he's dealing with and doesn't want to like sugarcoat anything because the world is hard or whatever. And I think that kind of just made it so me and him could freely talk about whatever we were dealing with each other. And then once our crews became more intertwined and once we started hanging out more and started discussing moving in together, it just got stronger and stronger. And then I obviously have such a wonderful support group in the modern baseball family, with the band, all of our crew, management, press, what have you. And Cam and Sorority Noise are kind of like that extension. Them and the Super Weeks, I feel like, are two bands that we just relate to a lot and we get along with really well, and who have been there for us when we needed someone, and been there for us when we didn't need someone, like our 7-band release show. And I think honestly, like, Cam and I's relationship is definitely just starting, especially after the year that we've had together. I'm sure that the two of us will just keep kicking it for a while.
I like how it can be hard to explain, like, how natural things come together. You're like, I don't know, one day it happened. One day I realized that we could talk about this stuff.
Yeah. Like, Cam is definitely that, like, it's really stupid to say that he has a very positive energy just because it sounds so corny to say that out loud, but he does have a very positive energy, and that, like, flows to almost all of his relationships.
Well, that's awesome, man. And I mean, not that I feel like that's the vibe people tell me about you, though. Like people tell me all the time that you have this positive vibe and like you're a great friend to have and all that stuff. So don't feel like it's just Cam. I think it goes both ways.
Yeah, I hope so. At least. I mean, the fact that they've all been there for me, I hope I can. Yeah.
Fair enough. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, I guess it would seem egotistical to be like, I am that guy. I am that guy.
You know what? I lead by example now.
That's fair. That's fair. So let's dive into the record. The first thing I want to say is I read the Bandcamp feature yesterday. Great little interview with the two of you.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I love that quote about being roughly inspired by the Speaker Box Love Below setup. What I was bummed is that Bandcamp did not ask you which one of you is Andre 3K.
Yeah.
So which one of you is releasing which one of you writes Hey Ya, and which one of you writes whatever the song was that the other one did?
I think we talked about this, and Jake outwardly wanted to be Big Boy. Like very outwardly.
Really?
Like yeah, he was like very much like, yeah, like I respect Andre, but like his flow is not the same as Big Boy's.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah. So Jacob was like very adamant, like, you can be Andre. Like, it's okay. Yeah. I'm completely okay with accepting that role.
Yeah. I mean, Andre's the one I feel like everyone feels like they know. And like, even though Andre's the weirder one, he's the one that gets way more personal. Big Boy has a little bit more fun.
Oh, yeah. That's it. There you go.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. That was like the first time I read that, I was like, how is this not the follow-up question? Which one is Andre 3K? Yeah, and it's also strange because that's the last Outkast album, and I was like, I don't know.
Right?
I don't know if you want to set it up that way. Like
that's what, yeah, right?
That's where they literally went their different ways.
Yeah, and that hopefully will not follow in their footsteps.
Fair enough. So you guys split the record. Where does the split happen? Because there's 11 songs, and it's kind of weird to say a split happens in 11 songs.
So the split happens after Hiding. And then the first part of my half is Coding These to Lukens, and it ends with the last song, obviously. But yeah, on top of the fact that we were writing, especially me, I was writing my half of the record in the studio. Along with everything else, there are some like songs that we cut from the record, which is probably why it's not even. But yeah.
So that means there's just some B-sides out there floating in the world?
Yeah, they're floating around. We might hear about some like very soon.
Out there in the world.
Yeah, there was actually one premiering today. So.
Fair enough. This might not be out by then, but it'll be out soon enough.
Yeah.
So when people listen, they can go hunt it down.
I'm sure.
Well, I gotta tell you, man, I don't want to break Jake's heart, but I do like your half of the record more.
Well, thank you.
But I mean, the first song I loved was Mass, so Jake gets that.
That song, yeah.
That song just like rips. Plus, I mean, having just moved from Massachusetts, there's like all this stuff where I'm like, oh yeah, I feel that. I feel it being on the road and missing that.
Yeah, right? Oh yeah, I do hate upstate New York.
Yeah, well, anyone that's had to make that drive hates upstate New York.
For real. It's like...
It's the most terribly plotted stretch of highway in the world.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like, whoever was like, why don't we just make people drive around the edge of the state the entire way?
The pretty way. Oh, wait.
Yeah. No highway just going straight through the middle. That wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I'm glad you feel that pain.
Yeah.
I don't know why, though, man. Like, Breathing in Stereo, the first time I heard it, like, moved me to tears. I was
thank you.
It just, like, crushed me. I was like, I get this. And
Thank you
I've
very much.
never been a touring person, but my job here in the industry, I travel a lot as being a part of in the industry. You know, I go to conferences, I go to festivals, I do all this stuff, and I'm away from my partner and our fat cats all the time. And it was that line, why does it take 2,000 miles for me to say I love you? Like, I get that. I get like you don't appreciate what you have until you're on the other side of the country.
For real. I think it took me 2 touring cycles to be like, man, I'm being an asshole.
Basically, that's the realization. That's the other half of that line. To realize I'm an asshole. That's
Yeah. It's like, God damn it. I guess everyone accepts it or finds out that they're an asshole at one point or another, and that was mine. Like,
Oh man, do you ever feel? Do you see? This is my thing. Like when I have those realizations, I always wonder if like I'm realizing it sooner in life because we get out there and we travel so much, or if you're like the last person to realize it because you've been so consumed.
I feel like I'm on the fence of that argument. I'm just like, I could have been like a day late.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I can see which one of my friends realizes in which phase too.
Yes. Oh man, I've had that conversation. You come home and you start talking to other people and be like, "Do you ever realize this?" And they're like, "Yeah, I've known that for like 4 years. You've just been too busy. You've been too busy doing whatever it is you do."
Exactly.
Yeah, I have that moment all the time where I'm like, when you're growing up, there's that, like, they tell you, like, girls mature faster than boys, and then you're like, does everyone outside of music mature faster than the people inside music?
For real.
Are we all just 20-something children waiting to become adults?
Yeah, everyone's just, like, looking at their watch.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel all the time. And I feel like that's part of this record because you guys are 3 full lengths in and there are all these expectations of where you're going to go, but for a moment you kind of pivot and you are like, let's be real. Like we have to be honest about what's happening here.
Yeah.
There's this growing disconnect.
That's a funny way to put it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like it would have been you have the ability to write these quirky songs with fun punchlines that people like, that make really good like Twitter updates, and I like those lines.
Yeah.
But then you listen to this record and you're like, okay, like, but seriously, like that almost another title for the record, but seriously.
But seriously, modern baseball, but seriously. It does feel like that though. There was like we kind of naturally scrapped a lot of the tongue-in-cheek quirkiness out of our vocabulary just because of the mindset that we were in. We didn't even realize it.
Do you feel like it's easier to take the quirky punchline rather than be like, here's the like painful truth?
Oh yeah, always. I feel like most of that is just because you don't want to face something. Like I feel like with this record, Jake and I dove deeper than we have before, and it's not just in the like looking at ourselves, but being aware of our surroundings and being aware that we have made mistakes, and the only way to move past those mistakes is to accept them, learn from them, and grow. I feel like just everything that happened this year, it may have been easier to not have the quirkiness just because our vibe. It just like naturally went down. But there were definitely times that I feel like we could have chosen the easy way out and wanted to work harder and wanted to get better at our craft and did such.
How many songs did you guys actually end up recording before you narrowed it down to the 11?
We recorded 13. We went into it with like 14 in mind, and then we're like, timing. So, but we recorded 13. The one that we're premiering today, which is called Stanger Rises, which was like the 3rd or 4th title after it originally be calling Saint Anger Presents Armageddon 666 420. But finally came down to Stanger Rises, which is the Saint Anger and the Dark Knight Rises reference. And a big reason like that was cut and the other songs were cut were just because they weren't lyrically in the same form or same mindset as the rest of the record. Like my half of the record is about me recovering, and me dealing with coming out of treatment and me dealing with my illness. And that song was particularly about me calling up my partner and being like, get me the fuck out of this place.
Fair enough.
So there was definitely like sides we could have shown, and chose not to because we definitely wanted to say something, and we had something to say with Holy Ghost, and feel like we did.
Do you think you had that level of focus going into You're Gonna Miss It All, or is this a new thing for you?
There was definitely a heightened level of focus just because of everything that was going on at the time. I definitely do think we're in a new chapter of modern baseball's career that we feel like we have tightened up or gotten more serious, I guess you could say. Um, we were determined to make Holy Ghost. We were determined to give every ounce of energy that we had left into making Holy Ghost, and didn't talk to each other for a bit afterwards just because we were like, whew. But it definitely feels like a new chapter in how we take things. I don't think we went into it originally being like, hey, we're going to change our mindset, but it definitely turned that way.
As the material started to shape itself, was that kind of like a double down point for you where you're like, okay, now like I like this, so I have to keep writing something this personal or this serious each time? Like I need to keep pushing this idea?
Yeah, I mean, lyrically and writing the lyrics, we both felt like we were just naturally progressing as songwriters. We were definitely diving deeper into all the topics we were getting into, and we were definitely diving deeper into how we handled our relationships and how we were in relationships, whether it be platonic or not. And I think with Holy Ghost, we just like took a big step in a direction that we had been wanting to go in for a really long time. So yeah.
No, I like that. I think it's surprising that you've made maybe your most personal album yet, and it's also your shortest record yet.
Yeah.
27 and a half minutes.
I know. How hard does that rock?
When I first heard it, I was like, that's shorter than Weezer's Green album, and that is an incredibly short record.
Yeah. I mean, we've always been a fan of short records. It feels like it, like, especially for me, I feel like, and Jake, like the way that we write, when something feels forced, you kind of bail. There's no reason to push something that isn't going to vibe. Mm-hmm. But on my side, it was a conscious decision to make most of the songs shorter than just another face. While I feel like with Jake's side, it is more like free flowing. There's like short songs like Mass, but you have longer songs like Note to Self and Every Day, even Hiding. So. You there?
Oh, I'm here. Sorry. Hey, sorry. There we go. No, I did find it interesting that Jake's half ends with his longest song and your half kind of ends with your longest song. I was like, oh, that's creative. That's a nice touch.
Yeah.
Maybe not intentional, but it's a nice touch.
Yeah.
No,
I love Hiding so much.
I appreciate that you don't stretch the songs because, yeah, your side starts and the first 3 tracks are all under 2 minutes long, and you're like, damn, like we're moving along here. You've got some things to say.
Yeah, definitely had a lot to say. Definitely wanted the songs to kind of portray moments of my illness, like in kind of like hot flashes almost of anger or jealousy, or whatever it may be. And then I wanted to say a lot with Just Another Face. So.
Truth. You get to Just Another Face and you're like, oh, this is as long as like 3 of the previous songs put together.
Yeah,
good.
Exactly.
I just imagine you like practicing them all and you can do the first 3 in the same amount of time it takes to play the last song.
Yeah, for real.
Fair enough. But you never worry about that. Like the song's done. You don't feel like you have to make it 2.5 minutes long or 3 minutes long or whatever. That doesn't really eat at you.
No, definitely not. I mean, there were first versions of a lot of these songs that were way shorter. So when people are like, your half is so short, I'm like, dude. Yeah, definitely does not worry us. I feel like we always have a lot to say. I feel like we like the challenge and saying it as fast as possible.
Now, you mentioned that you wanted to say a lot with Just Another Face, and that is kind of this big closer for the record. So what was your main hope to kind of convey on that song?
Well, leading up to it, all the songs are kind of these little phases of my bipolar, whether it be like the manic end or my aggression or just my depression. And with Just Another Face, with What If, I kind of wanted the first three. I'm gonna explain this whole thing, otherwise it's not gonna
go right ahead. You got all the time.
So the first three tracks are kind of like a me not wanting to accept my illness, or just coming to the terms with the fact that I need to accept my illness. And then finally you get to What If, and it's kind of like okay, I can do this. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I know that it's the right thing to do because this illness does not define me. And with Just Another Face, I wanted to kind of portray that every day has its ups and downs. Every day is going to be difficult. Every day is going to be a challenge, but with the right attitude and with hopefully the right support group, you can literally accomplish anything. I mean, I completely turned my life around in 9 months. So then thanks to the Modern Baseball Boys, I mean, all of them, I'm here today. So I kind of also wanted to thank them and ode to my homies.
Your homies, I like that.
Yeah.
You literally just turn around on stage. You're like, this one's for you guys.
You all rock.
Yeah. Oh, and you in the crowd too, but you guys, nice.
Rock.
Oh man, that's great. Well, what do you hope fans take away from hearing this record? I mean, obviously you want them to be able to kind of be honest with themselves about any problems they face, but like beyond kind of the obvious, what do you hope people take away?
Along with, obviously, like you said, besides everything you just said, and the fact that we do want people to not be afraid to dive deeper into their own lives, their own relationships, and be aware of the relationships around them and what's going on in their world. But I do want people to look at us as a band who's growing, whether that be sonically or lyrically. We're very proud of this record. We feel like it's a step in the direction that we've been eyeballing for a while. I want people to take away what they want to take away from it. But I also want them to know that this isn't where Mono Baseball ends or stops. We're going to keep growing and keep moving, and we hope that all of our fans will do the same with us.
Well, and I mean, I guess that's the hope on my end too. I like the band, so I'm like, I hope people go along for this ride. I'm on it, so like everyone else. I mean, I am interested because the album's been out. I guess it did hit the internet a day or two before the stream hit up yesterday. But you guys are Run for Cover is really good about being like, no, here's an honest way to hear the record.
Yeah. We were the last record too. Like, we always expect a leak. Just because it always happens. We've been pretty good at keeping it to the week prior. We were able to keep it to that this time, the weekend prior. We really want our music to be as accessible as it can be, in that way I mean like that you can literally get it almost like a very cheap price at a very easily. We've always backed Bandcamp, and Run for Cover has kind of backed us in the statement that we want to do all of our releases on Bandcamp for $5, as we do all of our CDs at shows for $5. It's something RFC's done with a lot of their artists, and it's something that's honestly kick-ass that I support really hard. So when we were able to take this opportunity and to be like, buy this record now for $5, do it, please, before it's like 10 on something else.
Fair enough. I do want to talk about one other thing real quick.
Yeah.
I've heard the Broken Beak record,
Yeah.
and it is dope. Like, I know we're talking about
Hey.
Holy Ghost, and it's about to come out, but like, might as well just tease July 1st. You're also in Broken Beak,
Yeah.
so we should mention that.
Yeah. Beak 182, baby.
Yeah, James Cassar, shout out. Let me hear the record earlier this week.
Yeah, we're very excited. That's even another thing. Bringing that back to Holy Ghost, like Bo, who started the band way back when as a solo project, the same way that Jake and I started Mobo. He started this thing he started Broken Beak by himself. Has been writing for a while, but has been working with Jake since before I met Bo. Like before the idea of playing in Broken Beak was ever a thing. Before we started playing shows together, Jake and Bo have been working together nonstop, doing like all of their like past releases together, and it's just like another crazy relationship. Like Bo did our EP artwork for The Perfect Cast, and that artwork was really intertwined with the rest of the record or the rest of the EP, and I feel like it was something that definitely like pushed the whole theme that we were going for. We Beak are very proud of Some Nerve. It's so great, right?
Yeah, it's so good.
We're very proud. It's our first record together. We got to work with Jake, which was amazing, in the studio that him, Ian, and Cam built, which was also incredible to be a part of an experience like that. It was the first record that they did there, and since then have done a ton. So it was just really incredible. But it's crazy. I really want to release like 50 songs this year, and it's crazy that I'm almost halfway there.
Yeah, you're getting there, man, real fast.
Yeah, really fast. So, yeah, very excited for Broken Beak.
It's worth pointing out the Broken Beak record is maybe a minute longer than the Mobo
record.
Yes.
Yeah. A song shorter.
Yeah. Matches is 4 minutes long. Otherwise, the record would be like 22 minutes.
I know. That's the other. Yeah. Yeah. Philly likes their short records.
I'm about to say that is a Philly thing. You guys don't worry about the length of songs.
No, definitely not.
What do you think the message of Some Nerve is? I know I want to talk to Bo about it, and I will closer to July, but for you, like, what is the big message on Some Nerve?
A lot like Holy Ghost, I feel like it's dealing with your demons and realizing that there's demons that you need to deal with. I feel like with Some Nerve, Bo took a really big step, and it's the same direction we did, and being really honest with himself, and was able to dive deep into his past relationships and relationships with his family, and it was honestly very inspiring to me to be able to watch like one of my favorite songwriters do his thing at his best. He's so talented. I don't think he realizes it at times because he's so hard on himself. But yeah, again, the same thing. I feel like Some Nerve, a lot of it is about being really pissed off that you got to grow and that you have to like grow up and deal with things.
Yeah, I feel like this is kind of like a cathartic year for you.
Totally. I can feel that.
My struggle with any cathartic moment is like, it's hard to know where to go next, because there's like this sense where you're like, okay, so I recognize my problems and I figure out how to work through them, and then you're like, but what do I do when those problems aren't the thing that are driving me anymore?
Yeah,
like
for real.
What's the next step? Where do I go from here?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And I guess in a way you never fully overcome everything, but if you can learn to manage it,
exactly.
Then what? Like, it's almost just as terrifying. Like, what do I do? What do I do? Do I just get new problems?
Yeah, definitely a day-to-day thing. I feel like every day I learn and grow from everyone. Like you said, like Cam especially, I feel like every day I'm always calling him no matter where I am. I'm calling him from Europe, like, I'm coming back tomorrow, but I'm freaking out.
Well, I'm happy you would take time to talk to me about this. We've actually talked longer than the album lasts at this point, so
That's hilarious. I love
appreciate that. Yeah, that'll be how I sell the interview. Be like, you can listen to the record that goes almost twice as long discussing it. No, this has been fun. I've been looking forward to doing this.
Yeah, me too.
This is fun, and I'm so thankful you had time to do it. And I know you have this big day ahead of you, but I don't think there's anything left for us to talk about. You guys have a tour. I guess we should plug it. You guys are going on tour.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, we're going on tour at Joyce Manor. It's in Live soon. The first tour off of Holy Ghost, really. We did Europe and Australia, but we didn't really jam out too many new songs. It's going to be nuts. The first time I saw Joyce Manor was at the church in Philly, and I got heat exhaustion and almost passed out. Definitely was a little drunk.
Good show.
That didn't help. But it was actually also, oddly enough, talking about Joe and producing and all this stuff. It was Algernon's last show.
Wow.
Yeah,
Full
it was
circle
very
moment.
weird. They announced that they were breaking up that day. Yeah, full circle for real. Yeah.
And then you guys also have your big release show this Friday, but that's long sold out.
Yeah, that was kind of intense. Yeah, super long sold out.
7 bands.
All of our yeah. To be completely honest with you, we expected to be at a bigger venue, and then so we locked everyone in, and then it was moved to the wonderful Wonder Bar, and we were like, oh wait, this place isn't as big. Oh my gosh, there's as many band members as there are capacity.
It's true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, there's 30 people between all the band members.
Oh yeah, we were talking gear sharing, and I think that might be the most stressful conversation I've had in weeks.
Yeah, but anyone that has tickets, go early, because you got every band on that list was really worth people's time. Obviously, you think so. They're on your release show.
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
I'm not connected to it, so I can be like, yeah, they're really worth it. I mean, the Obsessive's new 7-inch is great.
It's really great, and honestly, not to plug them super hard, but I've been hearing demos from their new stuff, just new stuff in general, and it's messed up. That's amazing. It's true. I'm so glad that we're becoming close friends with them, and another Philly band who's just working their ass off.
Yeah. And I'm excited to see Pine Grove on that list, because Pine Grove is everyone's buzz band for the year.
I know, that band is incredible.
That band is on the fast track, and in a way, when You're Gonna Miss It All came out, and I felt like everyone was like, "Oh my God, have you heard the Modern Baseball record, or have you heard the Hotel Year record?" This year, it's have you heard have you heard Pine Grove?
For real.
Good on you. Good on you. All right, man. I'm gonna let you get out of here, but I do want to know: is there anything we missed? Anything you need to say? I mean, everyone's gonna hear this probably today or tomorrow. I don't have anything else going on today, so I'll probably just edit this and push it out. So what?
No, I don't think so. No, we're just really excited to start sharing Holy Ghost, and I hope no one's super mean to us about it. But it's
yeah, they can buy it on Bandcamp right now, $5.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy to me that this is all happening.
It's your third album.
Dad. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you're still as excited and kind of taken back by it all. I think that's really important. So good on you. Don't lose that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
The day that you're like, yeah, we deserve this, that's when it all goes downhill.
Yeah. Oh, actually, there is one thing I want to say.
Okay.
If you can start spreading the word that Cam Boucher leaked Holy Ghost, that'd be great.
I'm okay with that rumor. Okay, I think his Twitter handle is his Twitter handle at the Cam Boucher.
It is.
All right.
He deserves it with that Twitter handle. Let's get
there are other ones vying for the title. No. All right, everyone, you heard this first. You tweet at Cam, tag us, tag everyone, tag the podcast, tag Brendan, do it all.
Exactly. Yeah.
We'll start a movement
here first.
And I imagine Cam will listen to this and he'll just be like, "You assholes."
Yeah, he'll just definitely be like, "I deserve this, but goddamn."
All right, man. I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much. Have a great time with practice today.
Thank you very much.
All right,
I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Peace.